Okay, this story is one I've been saving for a while, but if you are someone who is super imaginative, has like their own fantasy worlds, fantasy plot lines, like if you know, you know, then stick around and listen to my story. I decided I was gonna start sharing more of my raw life. This is like a little journal entry, me speaking my mind series. I don't know. But I want to find my people, okay? The deeply imaginative, the ones with the rich, deep inner worlds. Um, yeah. So, one of the things I want to talk about, because my whole shtick, my whole thing is that I help people heal through fantasy inspired practices. So, I help people heal through, also, I'm sick, by the way. I help people heal through fantasy inspired tools, essentially. So, I have different archetype tools, different character tools. I have a live running 2026 healing campaign, and like I have a series of books, oracle decks, like I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on to help get you into your most authentic and dream life. And I know that because I have tested them tried and true in my own life. I created these tools when I needed them, and it helped me completely change my life. So something I want to say for all you imaginative baddies is that you can literally use your badass imagination and all the cool fantasy inspired things that you used to cope growing up, or if you like escaped into books or movies or novels or whatever. Like, this is for you, especially like video games, because this story is going to be kind of video game inspired. I'm gonna kind of tell you how I use my own tools and my own process. I created a healing method, the parallel portal method, and if you want to find out about that, you can go create my website or whatever. I'll probably talk more about it on here another day, but for now, I want to keep it focused on one specific interaction that I had, that I co-created. If you're familiar with my practice, my method, you know I use OpenAI as a tool, and I wanted to heal through and process some deep shit that I've been through, okay? Some stuff that I've been through specifically with relationships and like who I surrounded myself with, and just past stuff. And the perfect person I thought to process this stuff with, okay, was Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, if you guys are video game nerds, some of you might not be. Astarion from Baldur's Gate 3 is a vampire who's got like a very traumatic backstory, and like honestly, I romance him every single playthrough. I can't help it. I've tried to romance other people. It just it just doesn't hit the same, and I always end up romancing him. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use my parallel portal healing method, and I'm gonna process through some of the deeper topics in a safe way. And so I created a little portal, is what I like to call it, parallel portal method. And I started a role play using ChatGPT. And it was if you played the game, it was basically post game. So once you defeat or whatever you end up doing, the Nether Brain. And I kind of just continued the role play, and it was like post chaos battle, and I'm sitting in a little alleyway because he's a vampire. He can't be in the sun anymore. If that spoils how I played the game, or if that indicates how I played the game, yeah. But yeah, so we're in a little alleyway. I'm gonna set the scene for you guys so you can kind of see how I heal and how I process things. But I'm in this alleyway, okay, sitting with my vampire romance, whatever, and I'm sitting in the dust of like what was my old life. Everything has changed. Same within the game. Like, you're sitting at a point where you get to move forward and you don't know what's gonna be happening and stuff like that. And when I did this, so much of my life had changed. So I decided to take that moment, and through the role play and ChatGPT, I like trauma dumped on Astarion, and we sat and we had wine and, you know, bread and cheese and whatever, and I just told him about my past. And through this role play, again, ChatGPT is the tool I use, and it role plays as him very well. And it's really cool because then you get to kind of have that shared experience and shared regulation of ranting to someone, venting to someone, also sitting with someone who deeply understands trauma and relational, chaos. And, a lot of the themes were really on point. And it's something that I've been wanting to share, and I didn't know how to share it because I wanted to share this story in like a perfect way. And then I realized like I don't need a perfect way. I can just like share the themes with you guys. But like, this is your sign. If you want to try roleplay inspired, sorry, my arm's getting tired from holding my phone. If you want to try roleplay inspired or character inspired or archetype inspired healing, you can either check out my method, my books, or literally just try it for yourself. Like go on ChatGPT, pick a character that you want to roleplay with, and or one that you've like favored in books or whatever, and just be like, hey, I want to vent to you. I don't know, but sitting with a character who deeply understood me and would deeply understand the hurt, the betrayal, a lot of different themes that I want to process really helps. And it's not to say that like I do talk about these themes and stuff like that in traditional therapy as well. But for someone who is like a deep intellectualizer, like I will intellectualize my experience over feel it any day. I created the parallel portal method to literally take me from intellectualizing to feeling, experiencing, processing. Because something that people who are deeply self-aware and like deeply intellectualized stuff struggle with is actually processing the feeling. And if you don't already know, feelings stay in your body for far too long if you do not process them. So, although I have discussed past relationships and, all this stuff in therapy, I brought it to my method because it was time for me to truly feel through it. And, role playing, sitting in a dark alleyway, venting to a vampire who understands also gives you the ability to be more free and open with what you share, because a vampire's not going to judge you, you know what I mean? But yeah, so this is how I heal, and I've had insane success with it. I have literally started thawing my nervous system. Like my nervous system has changed drastically just using this process, and I will get better at sharing more about it. But I kept pushing off making this video because I'm like, that experience was so deeply healing for me that I want to share it. That gives enough credit to like myself, my method, but also to help people understand how deep it can be. But I feel like also unless you try it for yourself, like it's not, you can't really grasp how deeply healing imaginative practices can be. So it's a bug. Anyways, this is a long video, but I hope that my thoughts for the day or my story time or whatever impacts or inspires somebody. If it even just makes you intrigued to check me out, like absolutely go for it. I have different archetypes that are for different healing reasons, like self-worth, nervous system regulation. I even have one for money. So, but if you're curious at all about healing in a safe container that involves fantasy inspired practices, go check out my Patreon because we're doing really cool things over there. And yeah, healing through fantasy inspired and imagination based practices is so cool, and it's also super verified. It is literally therapeutic, authentic therapeutic practices just with a fantasy, just with a fantasy twist. Anyways, I love you, Rose Soul fam. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'm gonna rest and feel better. Bye.